What's up, everybody? Ryan from the CBR show here, and we're kicking off 2024 with an awesome interview with the viral sensation Shinigami from Street Beefs. If you haven't seen the video, he knocks out a gentleman that goes by the name of Detail in about, 15 seconds. And what was that? 4.5 seconds? 4.5 seconds. And then the rest is history. We've interviewed him before, but we're happy to have him back on the show. Shinigami, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Pretty great, man. It's nice to be in the "where are they now" phase.
I don't know that you're there yet, brother. You're still famous to us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love you guys. You guys always got the best clips and everything, man.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. We're happy to have you on. I know we had you on a couple years ago, right as that was just all kicking off. Like I said earlier, no pun intended. But I'm gonna dub in the video here, so when we're talking, it'll be playing. But like, you went to fight Detail. That was your first Street Beefs fight, or your second?
First
Street Beefs fight.
First full contact fight ever. Yeah, it was crazy. You know, I got in at the last second. I drove down to San Bernardino like hella fast that day, and I'm sitting there waiting around, and I see all these big dudes that look like they got out of prison and bench pressing, all tatted up, bigger than me. It's crazy, and was waiting to get matched up, and they all went and did boxing matches. They weren't about that MMA life, and I got matched with Detail, and I wasn't actually too nervous about it until after the ref said go, and I'm like, oh man. I'm really getting recorded, and I really have no control over what happens with the film. But I flick out a little leg kick and read what his reaction was and just set up the head kick from there because he tried to block my kick with 2 hands instead of checking with his shin. So I just, set him up for it. And if you slow it down, the best part is if you slow it down, the second time I throw the leg kick, it'll flick it out, just take it. He tries to grab my leg. His hands are open when he reaches down. It was great. Right over the top.
And that was it, and the rest is history. Because from there, not only, I know that the pinnacle of your career was when we interviewed you the last time, but your kick was featured on ESPN's Instagram feed. You got interviewed by The Fighter and the Kid. You were there. You flew out or you're already on the West Coast, so you went and traveled.
I drove down to Santa Monica. They thought I was on the East Coast. It was going to be a virtual interview, and I asked where the studio was. They were like, we wanted you in the studio. I was like, well, Santa Monica? Yeah, it's right down the hill. I can be there in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I guess, the king of sports talk now, he interviewed you, Pat McAfee. What was that like? What was that experience like?
If you don't know me, you're about to. We do know you. You're the guy that ate a shin from Karate Man from the karate store down the street. Shout out Rachel for being on alongside that entire thing. That's the karate guy you want if you're going out. No other karate guys are good enough, though, nowadays, with the way jiu-jitsu and everything is. Unless you're fucking with, what was his name, Shinami? Run that back?
That's what he said.
Shinamsky? There's no way that's his actual name.
Shinami. It's gonna be.
If you don't know me, you're about to.
We do.
Shinigami fighting out of
Shinigami. You rolling out with Shinigami, you're in a good spot. That son of a bitch is the Beverly Hills Ninja kicking people right in the fucking mouth.
That was incredible. I did not expect to get picked up by somebody that major so fast. He actually sponsored my Big Smile fight too. Wild.
Yeah, no, I thought, because I remember when we first started talking to you, we wanted to be one of your sponsors, and we were tripping out that our logo and Pat McAfee were on the same fighter,
Yeah.
I tried reaching out to Pat and asked him, like, try to work like the cross references, saying like, hey, we interviewed Shinigami too. We'd love to talk to you about it or anything, and we're not, we got to knock somebody out with our feet before he wants to talk to us. But how was he? How was he as a person? Was he as high energy as he is on TV, or is that Pat all the time?
Super high energy, super good guy. Yeah, man, real good guy, dude. Yeah,
nice.
That's him.
Awesome.
That's 100% him.
And then for The Fighter and the Kid, how did that break down? You were on there for a while, right? You sat at the table with those guys and cut up.
Yeah, we were there. I was there for like the whole show. That whole thing was crazy. I was surreal getting to meet Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen. I remember watching Brian Callen on Mad TV when I was like 10. And I remember
That's awesome.
watching Brendan Schaub fights and the time he was on the Ultimate Fighter, the time he did his last fight, retired from fighting. Um, you know, the fact that he knows who I am is crazy, you know. I think I'm feeling pretty good, but then when he asked me about the Paul brothers, I think that kind of blew things a little bit because I didn't realize he was friends with them. You know,
Oh no.
I hadn't followed him so much after he retired to know that he was buddy buddy with them. So
Yeah.
I tried to recover that question too. I was like, they put out this persona and in public, and that's all most of us who don't know him personally have to judge him on. So that was my response there. But other than that, it was amazing being down there.
Yeah.
I gave him a headband, and it was sick.
That's awesome. Did you think, like, when you went into the fight, right? Your first fight, you're fighting for Street Beefs, and for those that don't know, Street Beefs is an organization that it was initially built off of getting kids essentially from using extreme violence to settle disputes, unrecoverable violence, I guess you could say, to just battling it out old school style with their fists, and then it's kind of snowballed into multiple. Hold on, man. I just got a phone call come in. It's snowballed into all kinds of, like, MMA. You have boxing. You have kickboxing. All that stuff, right? They have
There's a
multiple
lot of
levels of
options.
use.
I even started me and Ryu Senin actually started a combat karate division in 3Bs, like a full contact karate division, because he didn't want to do MMA with me when he came out last year for the big cross branch event at the Hot Box. So we decided to bang it out a little bit and have create a karate division, like full gi and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got options. Yeah, it started with the and anyone who wants to look this up, that I don't want to steal too much media presence away from Scarface's stuff he's got going on. He's interviewed by the New York Times, and he's got a documentary going on. They're getting a TV show. But it all started. This is something you'll see if you go look all this stuff up. It started with a couple of guys coming to his house. So we're like, he lived in the hood. A couple of guys came to his house. They wanted to squash a beef over a drug deal or something. So instead of shooting each other, they asked if they could fight in his yard, and he let them. He started from there because there was better solution than gun violence over dumb stuff. So the slogan. So yeah, I mean, it started out as a place for people to settle beefs without gun violence or worse, or other things, and end up in prison. But I mean, it's become so much more than that. It's a community too. It's part of the reason I haven't gone pro yet. It's taking me so long to go pro is the sense between the sense of community and the fact that I realized I had to refine a few things more with them after fighting some of my opponents. It's just kind of hard to put yourself in a situation where you can't just go fight in a certain style you like to fight in over there anymore. Once I go pro, I can't do MMA anymore, which is part of the other reason we got the karate combat going, or combat karate going. I want to get us to combat karate. But yeah, we've got guys like Free Smoke. He's doing sanctioned fights. He isn't pro yet, but we've had guys like Big Smile and Nasty Native went pro already. Yeah, we got a lot of big things coming up out of here. Memnon Warrior went pro. Reckless Rico went pro. I'm about to go pro probably in April or May. I have an opportunity to go fight for LFA, and PB's also just started becoming a recruiting ground for Lights Out Extreme Fighting Championship.
So you were saying that you're getting ready to go pro. How long until you make your pro debut? I wanted to get to that a little bit later, but since we're here, let's go ahead. Bill, are you there? Can you hear us?
Testing 1 2.
Oh boy, can you hear Shinigami?
Shinigami.
All right. Well, for those that are wondering what's going on, Bill has been a little under the weather, and he popped in on the show once he got his medicine kicking in, so now we can hear his voice. Bill, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Shinigami was tore up that you weren't here. He was devastated.
Our first
so
guest
we even left you a voicemail. I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, I'm on my barbiturates.
All right, nice.
Whatever those are.
So to bring you up to speed, we were talking about how his kick kind of led him to be a viral sensation. We were talking about Street Beefs, and then he just told us that he's getting ready to turn pro.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
What organization did you say?
LFA in Minnesota.
Dude.
Oh wow. So when's your first fight? Do you have it scheduled yet?
It's not quite scheduled yet. I'm working on making sure my coaches feel comfortable with me having enough camp time. So it's either going to be April or May. But I've been DMing the matchmaker. I actually was trying to get in there on short notice this month. I just couldn't get the medicals done fast enough. They already back. The fight would have been like next week.
Oh wow. And do you have an idea who you're going to fight or no?
Um.
Are you allowed to say?
Uh, Everything in my room is black. You know, goth problem, black phone. It is a gentleman named potentially Steve Asplin.
Okay.
Gonna get his ass kicked.
Yeah, he is. Well,
Steve-
we're going to
Steve
find him on the
Asplin.
internet. This is what we're going to do for you, buddy. We're going to find him, and then we're going to put a highlight reel of you just kicking detail in the face over and over and over again, and we're just going to keep sending it to him every day.
Spam him.
He'll
Yeah,
already
I've,
it'll be in it. You'll be in his head before he even gets there.
In his head.
So, so the one thing I guess that I want to know, and I don't know if Bill has any questions that he wants to jump in on, but like, you knock this guy out, it gets millions of views. You get an interview on the Pat McAfee show. You get to sit down with Fighter and the Kid. You know, did you expect it to like once it started to go viral? Did you expect these kind of things to happen, or did it just kind of take you? Did it overwhelm you at first, or were you just kind of rode the wave? Because I mean,
it was a little overwhelming. I mean, how do you deal with like, you know, finding out guys like Pat McAfee and you know, Brendan Schaub know who you are, especially Brendan Schaub. I mean, just personally, because I'm not that big on football, but you know, MMA has been my jam for a while. So, you know, someone who's been watching Brendan Schaub, like I said, I watched him from the time he was on the Ultimate Fighter to the time he you know, did his last fight in the UFC. That was crazy. Like, how do you deal with that, right? Like, I was like, okay, this is happening quick and this is wild. You know, I definitely was not ready for that. I was not expecting to go viral right away. I wasn't expecting to get popular. I wasn't expecting people to know who I am. But everything about that first fight was just like the perfect storm, right? Like,
yeah,
here's this fat dude in a gi that looks like he just came from the strip mall McDojo down the street, right? You know, got the Ryu headband on.
mall karate.
You know, the other guy looks like he's sponsored by Venom with the gloves and the shorts. You know, says some cocky shit, and then everyone's heckling me. And the next thing you know, the dude who looks like he should have whooped my ass is on the floor. And I'm just like, oh, it's over already. Okay, cool. And then I fought again the same day. And then the next thing you know, everything's just, you know, I'm getting messages from the guy who, you know, Starface, Chris Wilmore, the guy who founded Street Beef himself. You know, I'm getting messages from people asking to interview me on like really small, like YouTube podcasts, and then, you know, bigger podcasts like you guys, and then even bigger podcasts. And to this day, it's like I go to anywhere I go in Lancaster. It's not so much like I couldn't go anywhere for like a year and a half. I couldn't go anywhere without being recognized. Didn't matter where I went in the country, right? Didn't matter if I was in LA. Didn't matter where I was. People would recognize me. In fact, the first time I lost my title, I got knocked out by Nasty Native, and I lost my championship title in Street Beef. And me and Rachel were in Vegas, and we went to Gordon Ramsay's pub because another Street Beef fighter was the sous chef there until recently, and was like, "Yeah, come in, blah blah blah." And you know, so we decided to go try it out. And as soon as we sat down, the guy behind me was like, "Hey, are you that guy Shinigami that knocked that guy out? Can we get a picture?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Even like 2 months ago, I was we were at Subway after working out. Me, a couple guys from the Jiu-Jitsu squad I train at, and one of them was like a newer guy. He'd only been there for like a year and a half. He didn't believe he didn't believe it. He came in way after all that. The cashier comes over and with her phone's like, "Is this you?" And it's the fight, the head kick. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me. Can I get your autograph?" And my homie from the gym lost his mind because he just thought I was messing around about people knowing who I was and all that. And that, like, yeah, it's crazy. Even like even yesterday morning, I took my student to do conditioning over there at Planet Fitness, and I'm walking to go put some weights back on the rack, and there's two guys talking, yeah, that guy over there, man, he's shooting the head. Like 3B. Crazy.
So with all that, I know Bill's got the number one question that everybody wants to know, and you know, he mentioned her, so go ahead and ask.
What am I asking? How is she?
No, yeah. Are you and Rachel still together?
Yep. Actually, it's funny you should ask that because today is actually our 14th anniversary.
Oh, well, happy anniversary to you. Shout out to your girl, Rachel.
Today?
Rachel. Right. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Rachel. Yeah, she got known as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah. She's more famous than me. I can't even boast about it being my birthday without everyone in the comments going, shout out Rachel.
Yeah.
Did she fight?
Did she fight?
Some girls were fighting in there. They fought awesome. Who was that? That wasn't Rachel?
No, Rachel doesn't.
Who was that?
Rachel doesn't fight. I don't know. There's a couple of female fighters. Like, I think the more recent ones were like up in Scrapyard, like, what's her name? She's like,
they go hard.
I know her intro is like she's sick, but she's quick. Because I don't remember her name. Yeah, they got all kinds of, you know, there's like Fierce Honey and Miss Mud and all kinds of. We're actually about to have
no, cut that out.
Our first female fight in a while at this next event this month coming up.
Yeah.
Really? Can we talk about Gash? I want to hear about Gash. Have you ever met that dude? Or
I've met Gash. Gash is cool.
Is it the wrong? Am I using the wrong pronouns?
Go fight Nerd Rage up in the Scrapyard.
Dude, he can fight, man. Scrapping. You ever seen him, Merv?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Some would say he's like effeminate.
Yeah, but he can fight.
But he'd kick your ass.
Well, you don't know that. Remember when we were gearing up to possibly do Street Beefs? We were like, yeah, let's go and see if we can enter and fight.
Let's go roll around.
Then we came to our senses. Then knowing my luck, I would be the detail of Shinigami's video and somebody else's video. I'd just catch a roundhouse to the face like unexpectedly, and down I would go.
I said this before. Murph gave me a taste. We boxed in college with headgear on, and I'm like, yeah, I got my headgear on. I'm gonna be good, man. And he just punched me in the head, and that was it. I was like, no, what are you, crazy? So I give a lot of credit to you guys going out there and mixing it up.
So, Shinny, with all the positives that you got from this, you know, there's always a dark side to everything. What are some of the negative sides to like having something go so viral and all this attention brought on you? What is something, you know, what are the things that people don't realize that you go through or have experienced because of this?
All the women.
Yeah, besides all the women knocking on your door.
One of the things is when you weren't expecting to go, you know, when you weren't setting out to go viral, you don't really know how to handle it or capitalize on it. And I really wasn't able to really do that. I thought I tried to, you know, get my YouTube channel going more and everything, and then some stuff happened that had nothing to do with any of that. It kind of prevented me from being able to keep up with it the last year and all that. But so there's that. I mean, you gotta either have a contingency plan for if you go viral, doing stuff like that, or have people around you that can have some business acumen that can help you get to where you need to be with it. Otherwise, you're just going to end up stuck where you started to a certain extent. Then for me, it's all the random dudes that want to just fight me all the time. Most of the time, actually up until like Planet Fitness the other day, and the guy didn't like try to fight me in the gym. He just asked if they'd let me. I think they'd let me fight you in Street Beef. He's like 2 weight classes lower than me. Crazy. But I mean, even to this day, at least once a week, I get somebody. Let's fight. I'll Instagram, Facebook. I'm always getting the weirdest stuff. You know, it's crazy.
I never thought of that. Like you knock somebody out in a fighting scenario. Like you knock someone out where you're supposed to fight, and then out of that generates a bunch of, I don't know if you want to call them pretenders, because probably most people can't fight, but like that think that they're better than you for some reason, for something that's completely not related to them at all, but they find a way to attach it to themselves and like, you know, say that they can. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird to think that like that your actions justify them like essentially like wanting to physically harm you in some way.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. I mean, I kind of get it too. Like you ever watch a UFC fight in a sports bar, and there's always some guy that jujitsu stuff wouldn't work on me, or whatever, right? There's always that guy. And I think it's just kind of the same thing, but they have more balls about it because those guys ain't DMing, John Jones going, oh, that's not you gonna take me down, in the
Yeah.
street, right?
We should do a segment where we fly out to California, we pick up Shinigami, and then we use our internet sleuthing abilities and we find all these people and we just knock on their door.
The door.
And Shinigami's like, all right, let's go. We go to their work, like tell their boss we're here to fight them. You said anywhere. Well, today it's in your office during your board meeting.
I have Fruit Loops. They're gonna get all non-crunchy. I can't.
So,
Yeah.
like CBR and Shinigami Strike Back. Jay and Silent Bob style.
Yeah.
We're just ringing doorbells. Shinigami's here. Let's go. That's funny.
Why not?
So speaking of that, besides kicking all those people's asses, what are some of the goals that you have for 2024? What's in? You're going pro. You're training a fighter now. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I have a student in my karate class. He's a green belt. He just turned 18 last month. So he's been wanting to do MMA and stuff. And I told him, that after COVID stuff let up, I tried to get him into like youth MMA, but that didn't quite work out. I kind of forgot about the time frame. I realized he's smaller than me. He's like 100 pounds. He still looks not too much different than he did when he started 8 years ago when he was 10. So I kind of wasn't thinking about how quick he was going to be 18. So now that he's 18, I was like, all right, we'll get your feet wet. If you want to try to do this as a career, like I'm trying to go for, we'll get your feet wet in street beef since you're going to be 18, and it's not going to cost anything outside of travel. So
yeah, So when is his first street beef fight?
This month, on the 27th.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
January 27th. What's his fighter name? Does he have one yet? Is it Steel Wool or
Studio.
Dust Bunny? What is it?
Studio.
All right. How do you spell that?
ELFURIO. Means fury in Spanish.
Should have been Steel Wool.
It should have been Dust Bunny.
I
don't know if anybody. We'll have to find that clip and tack it on over top of this.
Yeah, for
Steel
sure,
Wool
man.
and Dust Bunny.
Um,
Tag team Street Beefs. Once they start doing that, Murph and I are in.
That's right.
yeah.
How about Bill and I? We wear all the proper gear, headgear, and everything to protect us, or like those bubbles that you can get in, and we fight you with those on just for our own protection.
Sure,
We
why
could dress
not?
up like Spider-Man. We could dress up like Batman and Robin, and then we could fight them.
Oh yeah. Or what if like Shinigami's got to put his head on a bat, spin around in circles 15 times, and then try and knock one of us out?
Why not?
That gives us like a little bit of a head start.
I like his chances.
So with all this fighting seems to be kind of coming back. I mean, UFC has never gone away, but it seems like there's been a little bit of mainstream with the Pauls, Jake Paul and all that. We've talked in the past about this. I know you're not a big fan, but has your thought on that changed at all because of the recognition they're bringing to fighting, or kind of bringing more? I mean, I know they're more so boxing, but like they're bringing it some attention in some capacity.
So I feel like a lot of their boxing matches are still just clown show exhibitions, and it's kind of keeping boxing on life support. But they've done a couple of things that I actually have to come out and say that I respect, like advocating for higher fighter pay in MMA is one thing, and then the other one is I don't remember what it was on, but Ariel Helwani and someone else was interviewing one of the Paul brothers. I think it was Logan. I think it was Logan, and might have been Jake. I can't remember. It was like a year ago, but the Paul brothers said something about street beef, and Ariel Helwani was like, "No, we don't talk about that. We keep it classy here." And he stuck up for us like big time. Was like, "What do you mean, dude? Street Beefs is an amazing organization." And da 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 da. So respect to them for that.
I agree.
I think. Back to what I said earlier, they kind of built themselves up on this persona that made you hate them. But if you actually start paying a little more attention to what they say and what they do, a little more behind the scenes and stuff of all the circus acts, there actually seem to be decent guys that actually are trying to do things to make fighting better for the fighters. So I got to give them that.
I'll change your heart.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit different than the last time we talked, but you know what? I think that they
them.
both at the same time, right?
Why not?
Same night.
Bring it on.
It's like Diggstown. Anybody ever see Diggstown? Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I think that the they play that heel role well, and they've learned how to market that and really kind of build off of that, because you're watching the fight not to watch them win. You're watching the fight to watch them get knocked out, And
right. It's watching a Paul Brother boxing match is like watching a NASCAR event. You're not watching it to watch cars going left circles, left turns all day. You're doing it to see crash, right? Like,
yeah.
So
what would you say if you had to give some pointers or recommendations to people that are thinking about getting into fighting or thinking about doing street beefs? What are some words of advice that you give to anybody that's thinking about getting into some sort of organized fight, MMA or
first
street
thing
beefs
first,
or
take it
anything?
absolutely seriously. You need to prioritize it. You need to make sure you have the ability to train at least 5-6 days a week for it, and that doesn't just mean learning the fighting stuff. You got to be able to go hit the treadmill or go for a run on the street. Weights, lot of cardio, jump rope, shadow boxing, weight training that's specific to fighting, a lot of core exercise. And biggest advice if you're going to do street beef, don't be saying cocky stuff in your intro like, if you don't know me, you're about to, or,
he was right.
I'm going to end this in
right.
2 seconds, because that's how you get your ass kicked. There's almost never been anybody who comes in their first fight and says some cocky shit and actually backs it up. Almost nobody. The guys that get away with that have gotten like at least 5 or 6 wins in the yard, and then they start saying stuff like, "I'm snatching teeth" or whatever. Big smile.
Oh yeah, big smile.
Big smile. Do you think Detail didn't think you could kick him in the head? Because he sure didn't.
Yeah, I don't think. I know for a fact he didn't think I could kick him. I don't think anyone that day thought I could kick higher than like my knee. Especially after that first low kick. I was 330 pounds. I was a big fatso at the time, and that's one thing I got to say is I think street beef saved my life. It saved a lot of people's lives in one way or another. There's been people who have gotten off drugs, gotten sober from alcohol, gotten on the right path from doing criminal shit to make ends meet. And it saved them and given the ability to be more with their families and have kids and have a better life. And I think for me, it was getting me in better, giving me the motivation to get in way, way better shape again. Because, yeah, but nobody thought my fat ass was going to kick that high. Nobody, I promise you. I actually had an old middle school bully hit me up and challenged me after that. And I didn't know he moved, but he flew back out here, and we were supposed to do that in like 2021. But I just gotten out of COVID quarantine, so I couldn't make the street beef event. So we came to the lab and we settled it, and I kicked him in the head right away. But I pulled it. I wanted to punish him a little bit, I wanted to get my payback. But if you watch that video, you can tell I pulled it. But he was already, I cracked him with it, and he stumbled back. I almost put him out anyway. But he was like, afterwards, he was like, "Yeah, I didn't think you'd be able to kick me because I was a little taller. I'm a little taller than Detail, But damn, you can really get it up there." I'm like, "Yeah, years and years of training, man. Years and years of training. Looks to be deceiving."
Yeah, I remember you said that you were going to fight a gentleman that had you were going to fight a gentleman that had bullied you in the past when you were younger. He reached out to you. I guess this is one of the people that wanted to fight you that you actually accepted the challenge. Did you get any closure from that? I mean, it's got to be something to face someone that has done something. I mean, bullying is terrible, right? Like we've all been bullied in some capacity. I think that it's rare to find someone that's never had anyone bully them, but like to be able to kind of confront that and stuff from the past. And I mean, were you able to put some closure behind it? Had you already put closure to it prior to the fight, and you were just, kind of entertaining him?
Things I hadn't seen him since, freshman year of high school or whatever. And then, we shook hands and squashed it, and I had to mop up afterwards, but it didn't occur to me until later that I should have seen if he wanted to go grab a beer right down there's a brewery right there, a microbrewery right next to the lab.
Bury the hatchet.
But one day I'll make my way out where he lives. He actually lives not too far from Nasty Native, so yeah, I need to go over there and hang out with Nasty Native sometime. So I'll probably go grab a barbecue in his backyard or something, buy him a beer, and probably have another match just for fun, But yeah, definitely squash it. I kind of wish I could have found some of my other bullies. I tried after that. I tried to look up some of the worst ones than him and see if I can get them in the cage out here in Street Beach and stuff. But I couldn't even find them anywhere, which is crazy because everyone's on social media these days. No luck.
Yeah. Well, maybe they went down the wrong path. Like hurt people, so they could have just, they might not have been able to recover.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you have any message that you would like, if there's some kid out there, taking his lumps right now at school or has in the past and, might have a problem dealing with it or thinking about it or whatever. Do you have any advice for any of those kids?
Take martial arts. Try to, it's kind of complicated because a lot of the stuff that you get told by school officials and everything ain't going to stop the bullying. I mean, as someone who really went through that a lot, none of that stuff works. It's kind of really hard to, give advice that's going to sound ideal.
Mhm.
But the reality is, learn how to defend yourself. And once you feel like you're at a level, if the bullying's still going on and it's the same guys or whoever, arrange something where you can stand up for yourself, where you're not going to get in trouble for it with school or whatever, and make them respect you. Otherwise, they ain't going to leave you alone until you graduate and or whatever. And that's just not the less trauma you can put yourself through, the better.
Yeah.
And it is not even necessarily about beating them into a bloody pulp either. It's just seeing at a level where you can at least do enough to make them realize, hey, this guy could really hurt me if he wanted to, and maybe I should stop messing with him. A couple
sometimes
takedowns or something,
yeah,
Don't
sometimes
go
just
crazy.
standing up.
Yeah.
Just standing up to the people that are trying to push your buttons.
Really, at the end of the day, you got to stand up to them.
Yeah. Well, we're winding down here. I think we hit all the questions that we wanted to ask. I know that we wanted to do a quick little rapid fire segment. You got 30 seconds to do like a quick little rapid fire?
Of course.
Yeah, Bill, how many questions you got? All
I
right.
don't have any right now.
All right. So what I'll do the rapid fire since Bill's got the sore throat, but it's going to be 3 questions. Are you ready? This is rapid fire with Shinigami. All right. Question number 1: if you could fight anybody, living or dead, who would you want to fight?
Ooh, that's a good one. Masayama,
I don't even know who that is.
founder of Kyokushin Karate.
Oh wow, that would be a tough one.
Beating up, guys from all kinds of different styles. He's one of the toughest martial artists of all time.
Yeah, that would be challenging, but that would be. I think people would pay a lot of money to watch that. Question 2. This comes from Bill. If your local deli was to make a sandwich and call it the Shinigami, what would be on it? That was a good question.
Ooh, that's a good one. It would be a steak sandwich, right? With pepper jack cheese, Gouda cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, like a garlic truffle sauce, and some probably a little bit of some kind of chili sauce or chili flakes, or like a little bit of habanero in there, just to give it that kick.
Spicy. That sounds pretty good.
I like it. And after a long, hard battle, what is your favorite post-fight release? What are you doing after a fight to kind of just unwind?
I'm eating for starters. I'm gonna go eat some greasy, junky cheat meal food. It's either gonna be In-N-Out, or if I'm in Vegas, 'cause that's where the West Coast fights are nearby. There's a place called Sayulitas that make burritos as big as my arm and nacho fries as big as my head, piled up real high. That, or like a nice fat steak, and then of course got to go shout out Rachel, if you know what I mean.
Shout out Rachel.
Rachel
and
sandwich.
then, usually I'll just hang out around Vegas till the next day, and then come home, and it's a nice little unwind after all the training and strict diet. And all that, you know. And I think every fighter has that. They have that one meal they go get after eating chicken and broccoli and stuff for months
That sounds like what I eat every day.
with no salt.
Yeah, no salt.
No
And
sodium.
I guess, you're a big movie guy. What's the one movie you're flipping through the channels? That movie's on. You can't turn it off. You got to see it all the way through. Which movie is that?
Oh man, that's a hard one.
Stumped them.
Oh man. Any Godzilla movie except for '98.
Of course.
That's fair.
Enter the Dragon.
Okay.
The Karate Kid, obviously, 1 or 2, or like The Matrix.
Oh, Matrix.
Straight up.
That's a good one. Those are good ones. Well, Shinigami, we had a blast interviewing you again. Thank you for your time. Until next time, buddy, we'll have you on soon, and keep us posted on those fights so we can get them out to our followers. The one last thing that we wanted to have, as we do these podcasts, we want to do a little bit of good in the world. So we ask everybody that comes on, what's the charity? If someone liked this podcast, subscribe, follow Shinigami, follow us, subscribe to it. What is the charity? You said Child's Play games feel better. So tell us a little bit about that, and we'll put that link in our show notes at the end.
It is a charity that donates video games, especially like now with more modern technology, like VR and stuff. They donate therapeutic video games to children in the pediatric ward of hospitals to help them recover from really serious injuries, or give them something to do that makes the whole ordeal of being in the hospital long term very less, or a lot more pleasant. I really believe in their cause. It's a great cause. There's every year too. In like November, there's a group of gamers that get together, and they have an event called Desert Bus for Hope, where all the proceeds from that go to Child's Play. So donate to Child's Play if you can directly now, or when Desert Bus for Hope happens in November. Donate to that. Desert Bus is a game that was unreleased as part of a Penn and Teller game for Sega Saturn. And
Sega Saturn.
I don't know if you guys know anything about Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, so they're very, very sarcastic and very satirical. So, not so much anymore, but especially in the '90s, there was all that violent video games, make kids violent, nonsense. So part of that game was this game called Desert Bus, where there's no violence or anything of any kind. All you're doing is driving a bus through the desert from LA to Las Vegas and back, and it takes like 8 hours in real time. All it is, driving a bus through the desert, and no other cars or anything. Just a road with desert on either side, and so it's extremely boring. And these people will play as long as there's money coming in. And I think they played for like 2 weeks straight or something this year, if I recall correctly. It's a little hard to keep up with it as much. I have a friend that's all about it every year. Like, she does a whole thing, makes cookies and everything for herself and everything. And but I've watched it a few times. But I think this year they played like 200, 300 hours of it, something like that. It was crazy.
Wow, we're gonna have to check that out.
That's not a speed run, that's for sure.
So if you like this episode, donate to Child's Play. Tell them that Shinigami sent you. And until next time, buddy, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, for sure, man. Love you guys.
Good luck, baby.
Got me out.